The text message arrived on a Thursday morning, right in the middle of me reviewing the Q3 acquisition reports. Just casually scanning over $847 million in annual revenue. My cousin Jessica's name popped up. Her message was as blunt as a hammer. "Hi, Samantha. Just wanted to let you know about the baby shower next Saturday. Don't worry about bringing gifts. Honestly, you probably can't afford what we want anyway. The registry is all high-end designer stuff. Just come and enjoy the party. Hugs and kisses." I put my phone down and looked out the floor-to-ceiling windows of my corner office. For 5 years, my family thought I was barely scraping by as a furniture store clerk. They had absolutely no idea that I was the founder and CEO of Sterling Design Group, the largest luxury furniture empire on the West Coast. They thought I was the failure who never went to college, and I let them think that. 1:15. The setup, a life of misconceptions. See, the narrative about my struggles started 6 years ago. I was 22, and while my cousins Jessica and Michael were off to prestigious universities, I moved out. I took the $47,000 I'd saved from working every job imaginable since I was 16, and I bought a derelict, abandoned furniture warehouse in the worst part of the industrial district. To them, I was the cautionary tale, the one who didn't launch. While Jessica was networking at USC and Michael was learning financial modeling, I was up to my elbows in sawdust. I was learning the grain of white oak, the chemistry of a perfect tung oil finish, and the secrets of joinery from master craftsmen who'd been pushed out of work by cheap, flat-pack furniture. My family saw me in a beat-up truck covered in wood stain, working 16-hour days. They'd whisper, "Samantha's just going through a rough patch. It's just a little furniture project. It's not really going anywhere." And honestly, I didn't correct them. It was easier. It was a convenient invisibility cloak. What they didn't see was the business exploding. Within 18 months, I wasn't just refinishing antiques. A coffee table that cost me $400 in materials. It sold for $3,200. A dining set, $8,500. By year 2, I had a waiting list of interior designers. By year 3, I opened my first retail store in the high-end design district. By year 4, I owned 4 stores and was manufacturing for other luxury brands across 3 states. But I kept the beat-up truck. I kept the simple clothes. I kept the modest apartment above the workshop. The irony? Jessica and Michael, with their fancy degrees and corporate jobs, were drowning. Jessica had $67,000 in student loans and lived paycheck to paycheck. Michael had a leased BMW he couldn't afford and was constantly borrowing money from my parents. Yet, they pitied me. The real turning point came 6 months ago at a family dinner. Jessica was pregnant, and the conversation turned to nurseries. "Everything for babies is so expensive," she lamented. "A decent crib is $800. The good rocking chairs are thousands. We're going to be stuck with cheap particle board that'll fall apart." My aunt patted her hand. "You have to invest in quality for children." "I know," Jessica sighed, pulling out her phone. "But the stuff I love is insane. Look at this nursery set from Sterling Design Group. It's furniture art. Celebrities buy this. Their basic package starts at $15,000. She scrolled through photos of the Windsor collection, a collection I had personally designed. I nearly choked on my wine. "It's beautiful," my mom said, looking at the screen, "but not practical." "Definitely not," Jessica agreed. "People like us could never afford this. People like us." I sat there, listening to my family admire my work, lamenting that it was for an exclusive world they couldn't access. They were literally looking at my life's work, and they saw it as a symbol of a gulf between them and me. They didn't see me in it at all. From that moment on, the family rallied to help Jessica build a perfect nursery on a budget. I was excluded, of course. Samantha doesn't really understand the baby furniture market. I overheard Jessica tell a friend. It was laughable. I was the baby furniture market on the West Coast. Then came the baby shower planning. I heard Jessica on the phone with my mum. We need to keep the registry reasonable. I don't want to put people in an awkward position, like Samantha. She's probably struggling just to buy a shower gift. I don't want her to feel bad. And that's what led to that Thursday morning text. Don't worry about bringing gifts. It was meant to be kind, a shield from embarrassment. But it was a shield forged from complete ignorance. They had no idea I could buy her entire registry, the whole store, without checking my bank balance. I simply texted back, "Okay, see you Saturday." Then I called Marcus, my head of custom manufacturing. "Marcus, I need the full Windsor collection for a nursery. White oak, hand-forged bronze hardware, the works, and I need it delivered to an address in the valley this Saturday. Pull out all the stops." Saturday arrived. I showed up to my aunt's house in a simple blue dress, carrying just my purse. The pity was palpable. Relatives gave me gentle, sympathetic hugs. "It's so thoughtful of Jess to make sure you feel included," my aunt whispered. The party went on. Jessica opened gifts, a nice high chair from her friends, a baby monitor from co-workers. They were lovely, practical gifts, but I could see the flicker of disappointment in her eyes. The dream nursery, the one from the website, remained just a dream. Then, at 4:30 p.m., a massive truck pulled up in front of the house. Painted on the side in elegant script were the words, "Sterling Design Group." The backyard went silent. Jessica froze mid-sentence. That's weird," she stammered. 3 men in professional uniforms began unloading piece after piece, each wrapped in protective blankets with the Sterling logo, a crib, a changing table, a dresser, the iconic rocking chair. A delivery man stepped forward. "Delivery for Jessica Martinez, complete Windsor nursery collection, paid in full." "This has to be a mistake," Jessica said, her voice trembling. "I can't afford this. There's a card." She opened the small envelope with shaking hands and read aloud, "Congratulations on your beautiful baby. May this nursery be filled with as much love as went into creating each piece. From your poor cousin who can't afford what you want. Love, Samantha." The silence was so absolute you could hear a pin drop. Every single pair of eyes turned to me. I smiled. I pulled out my phone, navigated to the Sterling Design Group website, and walked over to her. "Actually," I said calmly, holding out the phone, "I can afford exactly what you want because I make what you want." On the screen was the Meet Our Founder page. My face, my bio. "Samantha Sterling," Jessica read, her voice a whisper. "Founder and CEO. Founded in 2019. Grown to 17 retail locations. Annual revenues exceeding $800 million. She looked up at me, tears welling in her eyes. "You own Sterling Design Group." "I am Sterling Design Group," I confirmed. My mum sank into a chair. "But you work in a furniture store." "I own 17 furniture stores, Mum, and 3 manufacturing facilities. I employ 340 people." The magnitude of their misconception was crashing down around them. The beat-up truck, 4, and quality control. The tiny apartment, a penthouse loft above our flagship showroom. The sawdust on my clothes, because I still personally oversee the creation of our most exclusive, one-of-a-kind pieces. I gestured to the furniture filling the room. "This nursery set? Retail value is $78,400, But it's not about the money, Jess. It's about the fact that for 5 years, you all assumed I was failing while I was building an empire. You pitied me. You tried to protect me from embarrassment, but your pity was based on ignorance. You assumed that because I didn't follow your path, college, corporate job, I was unsuccessful. I looked at Jessica, who was now crying silently. Remember when you told me I didn't understand the baby furniture market? I created the luxury baby furniture market on the West Coast. The trends you're following, the safety innovations you're researching. My company pioneered them. You showed the family photos of my work and explained why people like us could never afford it. You were talking to the person who sets the prices. The conversation that followed lasted for hours. It wasn't angry. It was profound. For the first time in 5 years, they asked me questions about my actual life. They wanted to know about the wood sourcing, the craftsmanship, the clients. Jessica in particular was awestruck, running her hands over the rocking chair, asking how it was made. I told her about Carlos, our master furniture maker who had been working with wood for 37 years. I explained how the white oak came from a sustainable forest in Oregon and how the bronze hardware was cast by hand in our own metal shop using techniques from the 1800s. I described the 7 coats of hand-rubbed tung oil, a finish that's completely non-toxic and actually gets more beautiful with age. Her understanding of who I was had fundamentally shifted, and so had mine of them. When confronted with their mistake, they didn't get defensive. They apologized, sincerely. They were curious, not bitter. It gave me hope. 3 weeks later, Jessica gave birth to a beautiful baby girl, Sophia. I went to visit them in the hospital. When Jessica's friends and family had left, she pulled me aside. Samantha, I have a confession. I've been stalking your company online. The features in Architectural Digest, the awards, the celebrity clients. I had no idea how respected you are. I'm not just sorry for underestimating you. I'm so proud of you. I just smiled and gave her a hug. It meant more than any business deal. Then she grinned. So, when Sophia is old enough for a big girl bedroom, would you consider designing something? I promised to pay full price this time. I laughed, looking over at my new niece, sleeping soundly in her hospital bassinet. For Sophia, I said, I think we can work out a family discount, because that little girl was going to grow up in a family that had finally learned the most important lesson, the difference between assumption and reality. And honestly, that was a far more valuable gift than any piece of furniture I could ever make.